Hello students, I am Faisal Mushtaq. I am a teacher of Jesus and Mary School. Today I am going to deal medieval world, standard 7th A and subject history. Today we are going to deal remaining part of this chapter. Okay. So now we will discuss today the chapter 1's medieval Europe and rise and spread of Christianity. This is the topic. So I will discuss to you medieval Europe. The term medieval means middle. To know the changes in the lives of the people of the past. So according to your books, the history is divided 3 parts. Ancients, medieval and modern. First we talk about ancient period. So students, the ancients history term refer to past events from the beginning of writing and records human history and extending as far as the post-classical history. The span of ancient history recorded roughly about 5,000 years, beginning with Sumerian cuneiform script. It was a famous script. Ancient history helps you to connect yourself with the people of ancient history. So you learn what mistake they made, what was the impact and what they learned. Ancient history, it can always fascinate you. It helps you to connect with your roots and understanding the reason behind those traditional beliefs. So second, we talk about the medieval. The word medieval is made of 2 Latin words. One, medius, that means middle. Another, aevum, means age. Therefore, medieval history deals with the period that lies between the ancient and the modern period of the human history. This medieval period till from the 5th century to till 15th century. So it began with the fall of Roman Empire. In 476 Christ era is taken as the beginning of the medieval period in the Europe. So now we discuss about the third, modern periods. Students, now we will discuss the modern era. The modern era includes the early period called the early modern period, which lasted from century till 15th century to around 18th century. So this period is generally referred as the British period. So when we comparison of the today's scenario, it is a period which is going on. Yeah, right on. In this period, mobile phones and computers came. Every information became easily accessible through the publications, manipulations, informations with the help of the computers and the computers networks. So we will discuss about, my dear students, archaeological sources. So archaeological sources includes monuments, tools, coins, painting and inscriptions. Example, according to your books, Taj Mahal are monuments of the Mughal periods and other coins of Delhi periods. Now, So students, it is a basically the material evidence like also inscriptions, some more important historical building and other remains. The give important and detailed information pertaining to a particular period. So it can include ancient remains and monuments recorded and the recovered as a result of excavations and explorations and excavators, tomb, ruins of building, like as such as pottery, weapons, tool, coins, stones, and carving. So now, according to the archaeological sources points, we will discuss about what is the importance of the archaeological sources. So this is also very important questions. Now we discuss. Archaeological sources are important because they verify the history. It is important to be able corroborate. Corroborate means confirm, either to support with physical or physical archaeological evidence. All archaeological data is valuable for the simple fact it helps make history more tangible. Tangible in the sense of, I will clear, a things that is perceptible by the touch. Now we are going to deal literary sources. Literary sources includes biographies and autobiographies, accounts of foreign travelers, along with chronicles, rulers and dynasties. For example, Babarnama, the autobiography of the Babar. Every details and the information of this ruler of the Mughal dynasty, Babar. The account recorded by Ibn Battuta, a foreign traveler. So now, the next points we will discuss social political system. Social political system. Social political system. So now we will discuss. Most important points I will discuss to you, my dear students. Literary sources. Regarding literary sources are the sources you use to get some information to make and complete the work of literature. Example, a history's book. Literary sources are archaeological discoveries like monuments, coins, manuscripts. Are literary sources in any work of fiction. Fiction means a novel or non-fiction that is written in a standard language and detail the socials, political conditions of the time it was written in. So now, how my question I will give according to my sites. I will arise the questions with you. How are literary sources useful to us? So, literary sources are more useful than archaeological sources because they provide details information on the objects and event of the past. For example, people used to write holy text and chronicles of the rulers, letters, teaching of saints, and registers of records, taxes. Literary sources are divided into three categories. One, religious. Second, secular and foreign account. It information about the political, socials, economics, religious and cultural life of our ancestor. So now we will discuss social political system. So we will discuss here social political system. So the medieval period witnessed many social, economic and the political changes all over the world. So no doubt, trade and commerce was declined after the decline of Old Kingdom and many empires. Particularly, Western Europe was highly affected by social or economical by the social economical changes. Feudalism. Feudalism means it is a social system where slaves provided labor and military services to a lord in return for the use of his land. Particular, this system caused huge suffering among the poor. The word feudalism, also called feudal system or feudality, they were derived from the Latin words feudum. Social or political system refer to system composed of both social elements and political elements and the interaction between them. So the land became the most important form of the property. These feudal lords took a share of the peasants' produce or kept the peasants to work on their lands without any wages, without any payments. So now the economics lives under this system totally depend on the villages. Trade and commerce had played very little role in the life of the peoples. So now, the social economic life of the peoples all over the part of the world is affected exploitations of the peasantry, which became the main features of the social and the economical system. So now the peasant people on that time harass with the feudal lords. So the peasantry which became the main feature of the social and the economic system throughout the world. So in certain country like Europe, it took the form of slavery. In other countries like India, for example, zamindars groups and some gradesman nobility rules and the major portion of the produce. So now students, today the class is over and the remaining parts of this chapter I will teach in next class. So you read it attentively, seriously at the home. Okay, good day and bye.